as we study U.S. history, we can recall that in 1918, there was a pandemic that killed thousands of people in this country. And now, we're home and out of school because there's another pandemic. Hello and welcome to Room 78. I'm Dr. Lankster. Well, this is not exactly Room 78, but we'll pretend it's Room 78 and that we're going to go over our assignments that are coming up. And the assignments that some of them have already passed because we've been out of school now for an entire week. And if you did not do 60 minutes last week or today is Sunday as we're recording this, and if you don't do 60 minutes tonight, you are 2 assignments behind. Now, I only gave you 2 60-minute forms when you got ready to leave school, those of you who took them, but at the same time, I know that Ms. Rivas has posted the 60 minutes forms onto Schoology, so you can go onto Schoology to get the forms. Now, if you don't go onto Schoology to get the forms, you don't have to have the forms in order to do your 60 minutes. Remember, with 60 minutes, it counts as a quiz. And it's not counting 10 points anymore. It is counting 100 points. So you want to make sure that you do 60 minutes every week and you follow the instructions on 60 minutes. Now, I'm going to move around a little bit here because I want you to I want to give you your next 2 assignments. Some of you have already done them, but I want to give you your next 2 assignments, and they both include PowerPoint presentations, and they are very important PowerPoint presentations. So if you haven't done them, you can work on them right now, and the first day of school when we get back, whenever that is, if you have these PowerPoint presentations, you'll be able to get the maximum 200 points in Schoology on the completed PowerPoint presentations. Okay, I'm going to change my position and then I'll talk to you a little bit more about the next assignment and I'll explain the PowerPoint presentations to you. This first PowerPoint experiment, the first PowerPoint presentation is about the Tuskegee experiment. In 1930 or 1932, when the country was in a depression, someone came up with a great idea, and that is, let's experiment with black men to see how untreated syphilis, the venereal disease syphilis, let's see how that will actually affect African American men if it goes untreated. So the government, our government, the federal government, and in this experiment, lied to these African American males, okay, to get them to participate in an experiment where they pretended that they were treating them for having something called quote-unquote bad blood, but in fact they were giving them a placebo when they were trying to see how long would they live, and as soon as they died, they wanted to experiment with their corpses to see what was the result of it. This was one of the cruelest things that you could do to a human being, I believe, but it is a part of our history, and we can only learn from our history, we can only grow from our history if we in fact learn it for what it was. Don't enlarge upon it and don't diminish it, because history is what it is, and it is best when we learn it best. So I'm not going to tell you anything else on the experiment because some of you have already done it, but it is your job to do the research and to follow the requirements that we've put out in the rubric to complete this assignment. Of course, you know it has to have 10 slides, and these 10 slides do not include the title page or the reference page where you're going to give your sources. And at the end, you have to have 3 questions to see whether or not the students or your audience were paying attention and if they can answer the questions from this presentation. All right. For the last 3 days, I've had the golden opportunity to drive 1.5 miles from our Huntington Beach home to what we call Dog Beach. And Dog Beach is a place where you can come to the beach, but you can also bring your animals with you. And for the last couple of days, we've brought one of our 2 dogs with us, but today we came without the animals. And I'm glad to be here today to talk about something that we all need to do our work on, and that is PowerPoint number 3, which is the second PowerPoint for my students in both U.S. history, U.S. government, and in economics. That second PowerPoint is a PowerPoint on, we call it PowerPoint number 3, don't get it confused, but it's the second one that you actually have to do, and it is the assignment that has to do with the sterilization of Latinas. Our government decided on its own, as a part of our history, and particularly in California, and this is where Adolf Hitler got his plans from, to grow a master race or to decide who should bear children and who should not bear children. And Adolf Hitler modeled his production of a master race after California's laws. Now, if I told you that these laws were in effect in California all the way up to the 1970s, it'd be difficult to believe. But the truth is, if you study the history and do your research, you are going to find that the state of California allowed sterilization, with a disproportionate sterilization of Mexican American women or Latinas, saying that they were, the presumption is that Latinas are promiscuous, that Latinas are, they have babies like rabbits, that's all they wanted to do is have sex and have babies, okay? So the government decided that they were going to sterilize or to render them incapable, some Latinas incapable of producing or having additional children. Now, your job in doing this, we'll show you the rubric on this PowerPoint presentation, but same thing as in the last presentation, you have to do a maximum of 10 slides, a minimum of 10 slides, but you can only have a maximum of 50 words per slide. In fact, the less words you do, the better it is with the slide. I want you to make sure that you only use a limited number of words, because you're going to tell the story. You're going to tell the story on this sterilization of Latinas by the U.S. government, and particularly the state of California, and what happened to these women up until in our own lifetime in the 1970s. Our new assignment for U.S. government and also for U.S. history, our new assignment will involve Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR, and his New Deal. Each student is assigned to research and define 7 different programs implemented by the New Deal of FDR. These are programs that were implemented to bring an end to the Great Depression. We know that President Herbert Clark Hoover's policies were not effective in ending the Depression. So what we had to do is to elect a new president, and that president came up with a number of ideas that were very, very successful. Now, let me just first say that one of the things that President Herbert Clark Hoover did not do, and that is he did not approve the settlement for the Bonus Army so that they could get their money. Now, the Bonus Army, as you will recall, is that group of veterans who decided that they did not want to wait until 1945 to be paid their stipend that the government had promised them. And Herbert Clark Hoover did not pay them. And of course, when FDR became president, he also vetoed that bill that Congress had passed, and the Congress overrode that veto with over a 3/4 majority vote in the Congress to override that presidential veto and paid them. But FDR came up with a number of programs. They were all identified by letters, one of which is called the WPA. Now, you have to search and find 7 programs that were implemented under the FDR administration. In those 7 programs, you're going to select one of those programs to expand on, because you're going to have to do a one-pager, Dr. Lankster's one-pager on that program. Now, we will not have to do that before we come back to school, but you need to have all your pictures and all of the other elements for the one-pager when we come back on the 7 different programs, focusing primarily on one of those programs. I would like to say that if you have a problem, you can always text me, you can always email me, or send me some communications through Schoology if you're having some difficulty. Once again, you're going to have to produce a one-pager on one of the programs of FDR, but you're going to at least include 7 different programs that he implemented to end the Great Depression. Our country is going to be in somewhat of a depression when we come out of this coronavirus situation, okay? And I don't know if we're going to have to elect a new president, but I do know that programs are going to have to be implemented to get people off of their feet, to get them back into society, and to get this economy going. And this is a great country. There is no greater country than ours. And I know that we can do it, and I know that we will do it. And I know that you're going to do your assignments at home because you want to make the best out of this bad situation. I want you to make sure that you take good care of yourself. This is a special time, and you have to acknowledge that there must be social distancing, and it's okay to do that. You must acknowledge that you have to wash your hands. I was telling my students before we left, wash your hands at least 10 times a day. 10 times a day, you need to wash your hands. Sorry, the motorcycles are passing by here on Dog Beach near my house. But 10 times a day, you're going to have to wash your hands, at least. Now, the other thing you want to make sure you do is that try not to create a problem for the rest of your family. One of the things that we decided to do in our household is that we're going to be extra compassionate toward everyone, toward each other, okay? We have this family together, and we have to be extra compassionate because we're not accustomed to spending 6, 7, 8 hours right on top of each other unless we're on vacation or something, which is a different situation. But be extra compassionate, take good care of yourself, and we're all excited to come back to school when this is all over.
In a few moments, pictures of the 4 assignments discussed in the video will be shown on the screen for you to take a look at them in detail. This is a 60-minute certification form. This is Dr. Lankster's PowerPoint number 2, the Tuskegee experiment. This is Dr. Lankster's PowerPoint number 3, the disproportionate sterilization of Latinas. This is Dr. Lankster's one-pager on FDR's first New Deal.
Now remember, we've covered 5 assignments. Number 1, the Tuskegee experiment. Number 2, the sterilization of Latinas. Number 3, the 60 minutes. And number 4, FDR's many programs and the one-pager on the FDR programs. And number 5, your final and most important assignment is to take care of yourself and be extra compassionate to all of your family members. This video was edited, produced, and narrated by my daughter, Velmar Amador Lankster, a 10th grade student at Huntington Beach High School.